We are so thrilled to be partnering with Hinge. Hinge is the dating app designed to be deleted. As you all know, I'm a huge Hinge advocate as I met my partner of almost 3 years on the app. Even before meeting him, Hinge was always my go-to app because I met more relationship-minded people here and had some great dates. Clearly, I haven't been on the app for a little while, but I re-downloaded it to check out some of the new features. One that stood out to me was the voice prompt, my best friend's take on why you should date me, where your friend can hype you up. Not only does this make the profile creation less daunting, but it's not always easy to see your own green flags. So to test it out, I asked Yue some fun prompts to get her take on what I could put if I was dating again. So the first one, how long have we known each other? What was your first impression of me and how has that changed?
Julie and I have known each other for almost 10 years. My first impression of Julie was that she's very social, but I've learned that she has a lot more depth to her beyond the social butterfly that she is.
My next prompt, what do you think are my green flags?
I would say she's deeply loyal. She believes in love, curious mindset, and she is fearlessly ambitious.
And then last but not least, what kind of friend am I?
Julie is the kind of friend who will always have your back, no matter what.
Damn, that feels nice to hear. So download Hinge and try voice prompts today. Then find someone worth deleting the app for. If you've been listening to the pod, you know I'm marking my calendar for the big sale from Last Bottle Wines, one of our wonderful sponsors. If you don't already know, they're a Napa-based online wine shop that offers 30 to 70% off retail. And the best part, there's no subscriptions, no fees, and no minimum purchase, just a daily email with really great wine. And as I mentioned, they're having a massive sale. Their marathon sale is coming up on March 28th and 29th. They flip that one wine per day rule on its head and instead offer back-to-back, two-back deals. That means wines are only up on the site for a couple minutes at a time. We got a preview order with the mini marathon package of some of their favorites, and I'm telling you, it's a sale you want to get in on. And the best part is we're offering Dateable listeners 10% off your first order with code DATEABLE. Sign up at lastbottlewines.com and use the code DATEABLE and find out why Last Bottle is the most fun way to discover and buy amazing wine.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating sociologists.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to the Dateable Podcast. Nom nom nom. Is it time for brunch? It smells delicious. Welcome to Brunch Talk by the Dateable Podcast. I hope you're munching and drinking as we keep talking.
I feel like that should be an ad for brunch. Not that there would be an ad for brunch.
Nom nom nom.
Yes, exactly. That should be on your reel, UA.
Amongst many other things.
I feel like every time I brunch now, I'm going to think of you saying that. And I wish people could see. Actually, you can see. If you go to YouTube, you can see UA's facial expression as she was doing that.
Really, really good plug. I am so excited for brunch this coming weekend because I'm getting all-you-can-eat dim sum.
Oh, I'm super, super jealous. That sounds freaking amazing.
If it's good, I'll take you when you come to LA. $24, all you can eat, and it's like everything on the menu.
Okay, well, let me know because I'll be booking my LA trip like next week if that's the case.
But we are bringing our Pepto-Bismol just in case.
Oh my
like a responsible 40-year-olds that we are, we're bringing all the medicine just in case.
Oh my God. You know? That's how you know you're about to go to a solid restaurant when you show up with the Pepto to get ahead of it.
Yeah, I'm not expecting high quality food, but I do also think my chances of getting food poisoning are probably like around 20 to 30%. So don't want to risk it.
I love it. You know, I don't actually have any brunch plans this weekend, but I do think that one of my favorite times, and actually when I was single it was also, and it's carried over to having a partner, is in the morning. I wake up, make eggs, hash browns, toast, basically what you would get at most brunch spots, right? Very traditional brunch. Open the window, get the fresh air coming through, and just enjoy that meal. Like simple pleasure.
I love that.
It's so satisfying. And now I do that with my partner. So
I love that. It's a great trick too, because why go to a restaurant where you have to stand in line, wait for the food, and you're just getting eggs and toast anyway. Make it at home and then go for a walk and drink your coffee. I think it's a great idea.
Exactly. It's so relaxing. So brunch can come in all shapes and forms, Pepto included.
Pepto included, but not ideally. Pepto may be needed for this question. I don't know. Maybe it could help. But here's the question for this episode. The question is, when is the right time to ask for exclusivity or DTR, define the relationship, when you've been dating someone?
Yeah, and some more context. This person wrote in and said, I was curious because I was pretty close to the two women I had been dating for 2 months. I lost both. One of them already became exclusive with someone else.
Well, the timing thing, and we've talked about this before, there's really no right timing. This is a very individual question. So if you feel like you're ready to define the relationship with someone, whether that's on the 3rd date or the 5th date or the 10th date, doesn't matter. If you feel it's the right time, that's the right time. I think sometimes we feel like we're racing against some sort of timeline. Like, oh, we've been on 3 dates. Shouldn't we have the DTR conversation already? Or how come we still haven't had that conversation? Don't put that pressure on yourself. A relationship already gives you a lot of pressure and anxiety. Why have those external forces stress you out? So my first initial thought is, let's figure out, when do you think is the right time? And that's the right time.
It's interesting because we've heard a lot of people say like they view exclusivity different than defining the relationship.
Really?
Defining the relationship almost feels more serious, more committed. And I think that, I was a little skeptical of this at first, but the more and more I'm coming around to it, because I do think there is like an ease in. And I don't think that, if you really are truly looking for a committed relationship, just being like, I'm exclusive and this person not giving you what you're looking for, I don't think that's a solution either. But what it is nice for is it can start these conversations. And especially if sex is on the table, that's a really easy area to bring up that, hey, like I'm at this place in my life that I, want to be exclusive before having sex because I want to be sleeping with one person and know they're doing the same. And I think with COVID, that is not an unreasonable ask whatsoever. So I think that's totally fair game, pending that is what you want. If you don't want that, then of course you don't need to say that. And I think, though, the other piece is not being afraid to say notions of a committed relationship, even before you have this official DTR convo. And we've talked about it before. We don't think this needs to be like this sit down and let's hash it out convo. It can just be a simple, it doesn't need to be that. But I think even before you get to a point where it's more formalized, you can say like, hey, I'm looking for a committed relationship. Like even knowing that you both are on the same page is a huge step.
Yeah. And the timing of all of this can be a little tricky. My favorite show, The Bachelor, which is no longer my favorite show. I haven't watched the last 2 seasons.
Good.
So that's a complete lie. But if you watch all the other, like 100 seasons of it, you know that The Bachelor always falls in love simultaneously with multiple women. And some relationships just move faster than the other. So then he ends up choosing the one where he felt like the relationship progressed the most. So when we're in a dating culture where we do date multiple people, it could happen that someone could have feelings with someone else much faster than they do with you. And that is okay, right? Like you might see that as you losing that person, but maybe at the end of the day, see it as that person found their match. So that gives you the chance to find yours as well. We all want people to be happy in relationships. So you didn't lose this person, is that this person found a better match and you just go find one for yourself too.
Totally. I've had so many situations that I remember being the person that they didn't move forward with. And 2 of them that are coming to mind are now married to the people that they did. So it's like clearly this was a good match for them and a good fit for them. And now that I've found my person, I'm like, I'm freaking happy for them. Like good for them. We just weren't the right fit. So I think there is that, what you were saying is there's going to always be this situation that you can't control if someone jives better with someone else. That being said, I think you can put your best foot forward to be connecting with dates as much as you possibly can. And there may be a time that it's just not enough. But I think by putting out there, like, what is it that our common goals are. Letting this person know that you also are looking for a committed relationship if that's what you're looking for. And then using that time to get to know them and connect on a deeper level that this person feels deeply seen and heard with you. And if that's the case, even if they're dating someone else and this person asks them for exclusivity, they're going to be like, well, I have this other person that's interesting in my pipeline. But if they are dating multiple people and you've never said anything, you are having superficial conversations on dates, of course they're going to take this other option, right?
Yep.
Because they probably have a better vibe going with them. But I think ultimately, if they really did have that vibe with you, they would probably come to you at that stage and say like, hey, this is what's going on for me. Where are you at too?
What intrigues me about this question, Julie, is that this person said 2 women that I've been seeing, I lost them both, also means you were not committed yourself, were you? You were also mitigating risk, hedging your bets. And sometimes when you do that too much, I know I'm saying this person is, but people can feel it on dates.
Yes, they can.
If you're not fully devoted to creating connection or you're not fully present, they can feel it. And of course, they will go with someone else who is more in it than you are. So I get it. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You're dating around. But if you truly feel strongly about one person, show them. Tell them, let them know. Because in today's dating world, it's like you never know how many people the person you're seeing is also seeing.
No, I would so much rather shoot my shot and them say like, I actually don't want this with you. And then you can move on. They can move on to find the person that's a better suited match for them. I think this goes back to the fact that like we view dating as a game and we're so achievement focused that this whole notion of losing this person and, you know, not doing it fast enough. Like you should do it when you and this person have a connection and you're like, I can't imagine not dating this person. Not because you're like hedging your bets with multiple people and afraid they're going to go off with someone else. This isn't like, I don't know, the Hunger Games or something where you need to get your opponent and move forward, right?
I think a lot of people would describe the dating scene as Hunger Games. So that might resonate with a lot of people. Yeah, I remember. You also don't want to pressure the other person. I remember this one time I was seeing 2 guys. I felt like my feelings were much stronger with one of them. So I was breaking up the other one. And he said, would things change if I told you right now that you're mine and you're my girlfriend and I want to take you on a vacation and we're going to do this? And I'm like, no, you can't force it. I already have feelings for someone else. So even that, he like tried to win in the situation. It just made me cringe even more. It's like, no, I've already told you how I feel.
I think that's what it comes down to. Instead of focus on when's the right time to have this conversation, focus on how do you make those feelings so strong with one another that it's undeniable that it's the right connection. Like I remember when I met my now partner, I wasn't even dating other people because I just felt strongly about him. And I was like, I've dated enough to know what's out there. I've had enough interactions in my life, friends wise, to know who I jive with. There's something interesting here. And then I wasn't even thinking about like defining the relationship, but because we did have that connection, it was something that was brought up really early. And, you know, we had these conversations probably within the first month, but it felt right. And I think other people I've also, you know, either wanted to have that conversation and they didn't, and I could feel that. So it wasn't even like I had the conversation. And I think ultimately, you know, if things are moving in the direction of, you know, a defined relationship. Like I had my most serious ex before this partner. I remember, I don't know, I think like it was like a couple months that we didn't define the relationship, but we were doing all this stuff together. It was very clear that it was going in that direction. And then one day we were just walking down the street and he's like, oh yeah, like you're my girlfriend, right? Like that was our DTR convo. And I'm like, obviously, right?
Yeah, the DTR doesn't need to be so contrived. I feel like when you feel like it's right, it's probably right. And it doesn't have to be like my partner was very defiant to labels. He did not want labels. And so we didn't define the relationship for like at least 5 months, I would say. But we were with each other exclusive. I mean, like, I don't know how he had time for other people because we were basically together that whole time. And it didn't give me anxiety after kind of like spending so much time with him. It's just like, I just knew that this was something. So it doesn't have to be so formal. Like, you are this to me or I'm this to you. It's like you feel like it's the right moment and you just tell each other. That's it.
Yeah, I think mine kind of came in stages too. I think it started off as like the exclusivity chat because we were like, getting intimate. So it started that way. And then it became more of us deciding that we're going to both delete the apps. So we kind of did that together and got rid of them. And then I think like I just called him my boyfriend, like in front of friends, like because like we had these convos, but we didn't necessarily have like this like, are we officially boyfriend, girlfriend? Yeah. But we had like taken all these other steps. And then when he heard me say it, he's like, oh yeah, like, of course, like this sounds good. I'm going to say it back. Right?
That's like a great test. I don't want to say test, but it is kind of a test when you are around your friends or his friends and you have them introduce you. Yeah, that's kind of like, how is he going to introduce me? That would be interesting.
Right. Or take the reins yourself, right?
Yes, yes. But I know a lot of people asking this question want a definitive answer. Is it like in the first month? Is it in the first 3 dates? And that is not the way to look at this. There is no answer for you. And also, like, your first 3 dates could be extremely intense and intimate, or your first 3 dates are like a walking coffee date for 30 minutes each. So it's hard for us to tell you a definitive timeline. It's really based on your gut feeling. I'm spending time with this person. I really like them. I actually don't want to see other people. And me on the receiving end of that person would be like, I want to hear that. I would want you to tell me that.
That's why we can't be afraid to have these conversations, and they can be a series of conversations. They don't need to be this sit down and chat conversation. It can be something as simple like, hey, I'm like really digging our time together. Like that is positive reinforcement. That is not putting anything out there. But then of course, if they have someone else, if you guys are sharing this moment of like, we're really bonding, we're really loving this is so exciting. If someone else comes around and asks that person for exclusivity, they're gonna be like, wait, I have this other person. Let's talk about it. I think too, the point around the number of dates is such a good one because we're, so achievement focused, so numeric focused. And I've definitely been victim of this too, of like, by date 3, like we need to be intimate in some way. By date 5, we need to feel like we're moving into being a couple. And it doesn't work that way because 3 dates too could be, we've heard people say that they've been dating for months and they go on 1 date every month or like 1 date every 3 months. And it's like, that's not the same as if you're seeing this person, multiple times a week. And, like for me, for instance, with my current partner, I've actually never defined the relationship as soon as we had. And I think one was that I just felt right really early. It felt different, but also we saw each other multiple times in a week. Like it wasn't just like this one time a week, maybe once every other week. Like I think there's just so many variables that can say what the connection is. And even if you're seeing someone once a week, like we said in last week's episode, you could have totally surface level conversations or you can really get to know this person.
Yeah.
Let's hold that thought for a quick message.
This episode is sponsored by Viia. We all know there are things that can help set the mood in the bedroom, but did you know a little THC could also do that? Yes, Viia has developed a unique blend of pleasure-enhancing cannabinoids, libido-strengthening herbs, and a low dose of THC all into one mind-blowing gummy called High Love. This gummy, wow, it will awaken your senses, increase blood flow, and intensify any sexual experience. I've been pleasantly surprised by the High Love gummies because it is just the right amount of THC for me to have a good time without feeling sleepy. And hey, if THC is not your thing, Viia also offers a wide array of other gummies without it. And everything legally ships in 50 states with discreet packaging directly to your door. So if you're over 21, you can get 15% off and a free pack of award-winning Dreams THC plus CBN sleep gummies with our exclusive code DATEABLE at viiahemp.com. That's VIIAHEMP.com. Let the gummies work their magic. Head to viiahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE to receive 15% off and 1 free sample of their Sleepy Dream gummies. That's viiahemp.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout. Take your passion and pleasure to a whole new level with High Love from Viia Hemp.
As you know, I recently left my corporate job and I've been in total recovery mode, all about self-care. One of my new routines is the nighttime shower before bed. There's just something about washing away the day and that reflection that's been super helpful for me. I've been using one of our partners, Osea's Mega Moisture Duo. This combo body oil and body lotion are so freaking incredible. It literally feels like I'm at a spa. I realized that the secret is seaweed and other skin level ingredients that are normally reserved for face products. And that's why I was so excited when Osea became one of our partners. And, we're so grateful for partners like this because one, they keep the show going, but they're also super good for all of our listeners and for our own well-being. So if you want to have that nighttime bliss like I am doing, you can get 10% off your first order site-wide with code DATEABLE at oseamalibu.com. You'll get free samples with every order and free shipping on orders over $60. So head to oseamalibu.com and use the code DATEABLE for 10% off. Let us know which products you end up going with. Share them in social. Super excited to see what you end up choosing.
Living with ADHD can be a challenge, and dating with ADHD is definitely a challenge, we've heard many of you say. But finding the right care and proper tools needed to succeed can be life-changing. Done is an online ADHD care platform that can get you all the resources you need to help manage your ADHD. Online visits, refills, and a 24/7 care team made for you. In just 1 minute, Done's online assessment can help kickstart your ADHD treatment journey. With experienced clinicians, worry-fill refills, and online visits, you can start getting personalized care as soon as today or tomorrow. So contact an expert team that can help you around the clock and get a personalized treatment plan just for you. Here's how you do it. Take a free 1-minute assessment and book an appointment with a licensed ADHD clinician as soon as the next day. Get continuous care, one-click refills, insurance coverage, and 24/7 care team support with Done for just $79 a month, and pharmacy copays as low as $0. Visit get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. That's get.donefirst.com/podcast to learn more. Done. Turn ADHD into your strength.
And maybe someone's asking, like, when do I know that's where we're at? Maybe some of us are not as in tune with like maybe how we're feeling towards the other person. I guess for me, the time marker has always been the time when I decided that I didn't want to go on any more dates. It's just, I just want to keep hanging out with this person. And the times where you're still like formalizing the dates, when's our next date? Like, well, let's schedule a next date. That probably doesn't feel as much of a relationship as like, hey, want to hang out Friday? Let's do something. Like you just saw each other yesterday. You're already making plans to see each other.
I think that's so key because I mean, for me, when I met my current partner, I wasn't dating other people just because of just the way it happened to time out. And I've also moved past the stage of feeling like it needs to be a numbers game and lining up multiple dates. So I was not dating anyone. He was dating he had gone on a few dates and was like actively chatting on the apps. And he had shared with me, before we had some of these exclusivity conversations, like I have these people that have reached out to me on the apps, but I decided like I don't want to respond because I'm really enjoying like this and I want to focus on this. And I think like it wasn't saying like we need to be exclusive right now. It's just sharing where you're at. And I know there is an element of bravery that comes with that. But I think deep down like if this person's going to be receptive or not. And because I was super into him, I was psyched to hear that. But if I wasn't, it would have freaked me out. But then at the same time, like that wouldn't have lasted anyways, right?
Yeah, good. Good. Yeah, if it freaks you out, then get out. Like, stop wasting each other's time.
Yeah, I'm a big proponent of this move. So I think that before you've had like a DTR conversation or anything, how can you start to move yourself as a couple a little more and start to feel that way? So for instance, when you do early dates, you're typically meeting at a location. And how can you start transitioning that into you are arriving at this location together like you would if you were a couple? So for instance, what I would love to do is like have someone come over first. And clearly you need to get to the point that you're comfortable with this person in your home. But hopefully if you're trying to have a relationship with them, you are getting to that point. And if you're not, that probably says that you're not ready and not there yet. And one of the things that I would do is I would like either they would offer to be like, oh, let me come to your house first first if they kind of took the initiative, or if they weren't taking that initiative, I'd be like, hey, like, do you want to come over first for some like wine and cheese and then we can go to the restaurant? Something that like makes it, we're now operating as a couple. I think that is a huge step forward. So then when these conversations happen, it's like you're already doing the motion, and it's an obvious next step.
I truly, truly love that. That is such a great way to build connection with each other. And if you live in a big city where you don't have a car, because I really love the whole picking up on dates.
Yeah.
Like either I'm picking someone up or they're picking me up. But in a city like San Francisco or New York, you're not picking people up by car. You can still pick them up by foot. Like it's fun to, I'll meet you at your doorstep and then we'll walk to the restaurant together. Maybe we'll get some coffee along the way, or I want to show you this statue that I really love. So then you start having shared experiences versus this waiting for someone to show up at a restaurant or a bar feels very much me versus you. It does not feel like you're on the same team yet. So that's a really great way to build that connection. Show up together.
I love what you said too, is like, even if you're not comfortable having this person in the house, meet at your doorstep. Like there's many different things that you can do to get those wheels turning. And I remember like my boyfriend picking me up, even to go to his house to like make dinner or something. And it was so nice because it made it feel like I'm, one, caring for you, but also like we're in it together to take this next move.
Yeah, that's so great. So there you go, like shifting your focus less on how many dates you've been on, should you DTR, is now the right time, to how can I build a connection with this person where we feel more like a team, so that we know, we get a glimpse of what it's like to be in a relationship with each other before we make that decision to DTR or be exclusive.
And then you're not losing anyone. You're just, like if that person was to meet someone else that's a better fit for them, like you just need to accept that. Like I really believe if you can feel like you're doing all you can, you cannot control the way the other person reacts. If you're not putting your full self out there, then there's always this what if. Like, what if I had actually showed a little more interest? Or what if I had made my intentions more clear? So how can we move that we don't have any of these what ifs and then just accept everything else will fall into place, whether that's what you want or even if it's not what you want in that moment?
That's great. No regrets. No looking back.
No regrets. Oh my God. I had so many years that I just didn't make moves because I was waiting or afraid or whatever. And I wish I just did. And then at least I would have an answer.
Yes. And then fucking move on.
Exactly. Get the answer, move on.
So you can go to brunch, damn it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, last thing to add here, though, with this get the answer, move on. I think, like, if you are, early, like within the first month, maybe not everyone isn't there yet. And that's okay, too. Like, as long as you feel like this connection is building and there's a chance it will get there. But I think we do need to be cognizant that people move at different speeds. And ultimately, if someone's not moving at the speed you want to, then of course it's your decision then to be like, this isn't the right fit because we're not aligned. But I think especially if we're going to say like, I want to be with someone from date one, like that just might not be realistic either.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. Happy brunching.
Yeah, we'll leave you all to brunching. Send in your questions. You can email us hello@dateablepodcast.com, or you can DM us on Instagram @dateablepodcast. We love the questions. Keep them coming because we're not stopping these episodes. So we need the questions.
Yep. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast, make sure to do that because you'll get these episodes as soon as they drop. Just a reminder that our primary episode drops on Tuesdays and now our brunch talk drops on Sundays. So if you're subscribed, you will get access first. So make sure you're subscribed.
Yeah, subscribe. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. Happy brunching. We'll see you all next time on Brunch Talk.
Bye.
The Dateable Podcast is part of the Frolic Media Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts. You can follow us on Instagram @dateablepodcast and visit dateablepodcast.com for access to all the episodes and our premium programs. Also, make sure to subscribe today if you haven't already on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform so you are the first to get all the latest episodes. And most importantly, stay dateable.